Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. It is so lovely to see all your shining faces again. Glad to be back. Yeah. My name's Mike. I'm a developer for Last Epoch. And we're gonna play some Last Epoch. We're gonna answer some questions. As usual, we stream for charity. Boom, charity's above my head. We've been playing this marksman all season long, and there are 2 points not invested in Heartseeker right now. Oh, now we play the game of Mike trying to remember where they went, which is doing a very good job at accentuating a problem we have with our skill system after coming back to it after a week of not looking at this, probably closer to 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember where these points went. You know what? Mana efficiency is always good. Yeah, I don't think we have any housekeeping to take care of today or anything. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'll do my best to answer them. Please put @LastEpochGame in chat so it stands out, or @LastEpoch if you're on YouTube. And I'll get those questions all funneled to me, and I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible and all that jazz. We're gonna struggle. We're a little under geared, and we're wading into the deep end, and I haven't played in a while. I'm making excuses already for my deaths that are surely to come. We're gonna start right here. Look at that. Cool, useless. Wonderful. I don't want to tank it. Yeah. We didn't die on the first enemy. Success. Alright, first question. Before we start, here's your Workly character sheet rework reminder. Thanks, Cyborg. Glad to have you here. Yeah, we haven't really talked about the character sheet rework for a while, but it is something that we're still interested in doing. It's still on the list, all that sort of good stuff. The character sheets, it's a very old UI in the game right now. It's had a glow up fairly recently, and I think the visuals look nice, but the functionality is very old, and it needs a functionality facelift. It's not a facelift. That's I don't know what. A restructuring, because there's a ton of information in here, but there's weirdly still information missing, and it's not super accessible. So yes, we are very interested in improving that character sheet. It will not happen in season 3. I am sorry. But our UI team is expanded and got old people back and got new people added, and good stuff's coming there. Oh, you know what that means? Green rings. Is it this one? Yeah, it was that one. I get my hopes up every time. I don't know why. What date was the new season? Next season, that's season 3 starts. 21st? I think it's 21st. Is that right? Someone correct me. Oops. That was my desktop background. Yes, 21st. Thank you. All right. Are Primordial Exalts limited to 1 equipped at a time like Primordial Uniques? I'm not exactly sure what I'm allowed to say with regards to Primordial Exalt and how they function. We haven't really discussed that yet. Yeah, on the website it does list that the Primordial Uniques are a single equip per. And I'm not sure how much we're prepared to clarify that at the moment. I might be having a conversation with Kane right now via me talking and him typing. All right. Hey, Mike. Quick question: is there any change? Oh, so I'm gonna kind of sidestep the exalted primordial exalted question because I don't know if we're revealing the details on how it's gonna function just yet. I guess I'll say there's more information about that the way they function and how they interact and all that sort of stuff that has not been revealed yet. So there's a little bit of details that are missing there still, which I'd like to get out as soon as possible, really, because it is a pretty important thing to be able to start, because we've taken I guess we've recently taken away a lot of the ability for people to plan ahead a little bit, and having some of that information still show up is useful. Or like, I guess it's bad if people are trying to make builds on speculated information that then suddenly just doesn't work, and there's that disappointment timing. So I'd like to avoid that if possible. All right, hey Mike, quick question. Is there any change that the game gets, any chance, I assume, that this game gets Turkish language support? Okay, that was a funny typo for a second there. He puts the number of questions that are in my question queue, like how far behind I am, and it said 65 for a split second. I went, oh God, that many already? Okay, any chance we get Turkish language support? There's always a chance. Not in season 3. We're not adding any new languages in season 3. We're still really working on like higher quality, improving the quality of the translations we do have. That whole pipeline is really intense of just like timings of when things can happen, and the more languages we add on, the earlier we have to lock down strings, stuff like that. But yeah, we are working on expanding and improving our localization support. And I mean, I think it's going to come down to the languages that get requested the most, and the languages that have the most players in those regions, and the languages that are like the most prohibitive to players, like the languages that cause players. How's this? The languages that are, I guess maybe there's less overlap in speaking, so it's harder for players in that region to get involved. Things like that. There's a whole bunch of factors that go into deciding which languages go next. But we are really interested in expanding that and improving that as well. Just the versions that we already have. Because the ones we have right now are not perfect. They've definitely improved a ton, and we are working on improving those as well. Right. Got a question here. Is the Rune Master getting any changes? Yes, the Rune Master is getting changes. I mean, everything's getting changes. Is Rune Master getting major changes and significant updates and like a big focus and groundbreaking stuff that's gonna shake up everything completely? No. But like there's tweaks and new items and things like that. Like there's no new Rune Master skills coming. There's no so there's the scope of the changes are pretty limited in the sense of like the passive tree and the skills. But there'll be adjustments on existing there'll be adjustments on existing nodes in various places, and just like there always is, and the itemization changes that are coming are going to affect it, hopefully quite a bit. I love when itemization changes shake things up. All right. Okay, let's dump this stuff because we got a lot of stuff here. I don't know why I'm keeping so much stuff. It's just habit at this point. We are going to be ruthless as I put like fairly common uniques in. We're gonna be horribly ruthless. I'm just selling stuff. This is happening.
Take care.
We're getting close to the end of the season. I really should just keep playing. All right. Is Aura of Decay getting any love, or at least will some of the talents with negative effects be nerfed to bring it up a notch? There's some adjustments happening to Aura of Decay. I'm not gonna go into specific details on exactly what's changing with it, but there's some mechanics around. There's some mechanics around how Aura of Decay functions, like fundamental mechanics on how Aura of Decay functions that are being adjusted to make it much more playable. and a little less on the burden of optimal play side of things as well. So it'll be easier to play and function better and feel better and just flow better, I think, is the key thing. I don't really feel like doing an arena. We're basically there on the quests. We just kind of go for that. Let's pick something really easy. Near the center. Yeah, endurance. We must. To have calling, we must. Rare enemies CDR. Bosses, not rare enemies, famously. Preparing for a boss fight. Oh. Pick that up. Alright. Hi Mike, how are you doing? I'm doing really good, thank you. I'm doing really good, yeah. We had one of my first like in the wild encounters, kind of a secondhand in the wild encounter. So my mom is moving right now, and someone was like helping her move. I'm not exactly sure what it was, or someone came to set something up for the new house or something, and she had one of the big play mats. I was gonna pick up my playmat, but I'm like, my mouse and keyboard are under those. One of the big playmats that she, the one I brought back from Germany, she convinced me to loan to her long term, and he recognized it from recognized the game from the playmat. I was, oh, that's cool. All right, on to your real question. Do you have any idea what you will be playing next season? I'm not sure. It's gonna be a minion focused build next season for sure. I think it's gonna. I don't know if I'll play Necromancer or Beastmaster, but I think it's down to those two right now. Maybe we should do a poll at some point, if you guys wanna have an impact on what I play for the season. But it's gonna be a minion build. That's one thing I'll limit it to right now. Sure, let's do a poll. How do we do a poll? Let's do a poll right here, and we'll decide. Here's how Mike struggles to make a poll, and then says, "Hey Kane, can you make a poll for me?" Beastmaster or Necromancer for next season. I'll figure out someone from there. Lich or bust. We played Lich pretty recently. And it'd be cool to like do a bit of a contrast on like big changes, but we did play Lich very recently. So if Beastmaster gets picked, maybe I'll do like we'll splash Lich for a little bit or something. So I played one class this whole season, which made my life real easy, but yeah, I can see it getting a little stale. I know people don't really come for the gameplay so much. That's fine. All right. With the influx of capital, what big feature are you excited about that should come out sooner now? Mostly unannounced features. I think is the big thing. Stuff that we've kind of hinted at wanting to do that we haven't officially announced yet. And yeah, I want to play minion build. No Lich in the pool. Yeah, I think most of the things that are going to get accelerated are stuff that we haven't really announced yet. There's a bit of a lag time with things like this. So we're probably like season 3 is going to be literally identical to what it would have been normally. Season 4 we'll see some changes, but probably not huge changes. And I think then we'll start to see. Poll's live. Yeah. Okay, there's a 10-minute poll. So if you want me to play a Necromancer or a Beastmaster next season, vote it up for there. Thank you, Kane. Appreciate you. There'll probably be a few things that'll slip in earlier. I don't know what though. Woo. Nowhere is safe. Okay, it was patrolling. Okay, that makes sense. I feel better about that now. I just stand here and they'll all come to me. Problem solved. The laziest build ever. I always want to call this guy Lord Orca. Any new updates regarding season 3 that you can tell us? Yeah, I mean, most of the big stuff's been sort of like spoiled. I have some teasers here. I have some teasers. I've already teased one of the teasers a little bit here. Ah, you may have noticed it. I'm gonna slip the teasers in, stealth teasers this time. One's already happened. When will the next one happen? Ah. Oh, that's a nice one. Sweet. Well, I'll explain it when someone figures it out. Someone's probably already figured it out. I just haven't found it yet. All right. Is there a season challenge in this game with rewards? No, we don't have a season challenge type thing. We don't have. Someone's got already that. That was fast. Yes. So we do have. We don't have a season's challenge reward style system. Kind of like what Path of Exile or Diablo does at the moment. I do really think that style of thing is can be executed fantastically. That's something I'd really like to see us do. But we don't have anything like that right now in the game. I reached over and hit a button. It wasn't exactly hidden. Yeah, fine. It's not integrated into the game properly on the live version 1.2. Yes. So as some eagle-eared viewers have already very quickly deduced, we do have some sounds coming, some new sound options for the loot filter, which is great news. It's just fantastic news. So when you'll have, we're doing the fixed audio option for the loot filter sounds. So when you're in, when you're in setting up a rule, things like that, just like we have select color, there's like fixed options for that. There'll be fixed options for the sounds they can make, so you can attach certain sounds to certain rules. And I've played a couple of them. I'll play a couple more throughout the stream. You'll see what they are. I'll replay the two that I've already played here. And all right. Yeah, and this is really important for, I mean, it's probably obvious for most people. If you're excited about this, it's obvious. There's more options too. These are just two of the options so far. I'm only going to play four of the total options on stream, and there will be even more options on top of that as well. So this is a small subset of the sounds. I might as well just play them all now. Okay, here we'll go through the four that I've got here, and there's more on top of this as well, just to be clear. Yeah, I like that one. Huh. Some different vibes in there. Lots of good things, and there's other ones on top of that as well. So we'll be able to customize the sounds, and the big thing this is really useful for, obviously, is when an item drops, if it's off screen, you don't notice it. If you've coded a certain sound if you've told the filter to play a certain sound, you know, like, hey, something amazing just dropped somewhere. I need to go look for it. so it doesn't need to be on screen, which is really important. All right, Harton. Why did I move? Why did I move? That was an idiot play, Mike. Just stand still and trust. Believe. And breathe. Keep breathing. Remember to breathe. This is just gonna work. This is just gonna work. Yeah. Bows, 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 bows. Can I just survive the Harbinger now? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna have to move for the Harbinger. Maybe not. Am I tanky? I don't want to let go of attack right now for anything. Just don't let go of the attack button, Mike. Come on. Oh my god. I don't know why I bailed out at the last second there. Okay, well, I mean, this build's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Even in my janky gear, it's working. Wondrous. All right. I don't know what I was worried about. Easy. Pick everything up. All right. Easy.
Welcome.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, give me that experience. What do we got left? Do we have any points? No, we don't have points. Of course we don't have any points. But we're getting up there. We also have very few Harbingers left to kill. That's in the wrong. Oh yeah, I fixed that bug. That's great. Okay, more questions. I'm falling behind. Mike, what are you doing? Will the Rift Beasts be as difficult as champions or other similarly difficult enemies? The Rift Beasts are definitely a different class of enemy than champions. They're on a higher tier than champions, and they are they're more highly variable in their abilities and difficulty than champions. That's a system. That's a system that evolves over time. So it's not exactly just here's the Rift Beast and go. It's not the same Rift Beast over and over again sort of thing. All right, is there anything coming to the patch that was not shown in the trailer, like sigils or other things? No major systems. Sigils is a something we teased a long time ago. But there's a system of that scale. If it was coming out, it would have already been shown in that preview trailer. But yeah, like there's tons of little things and even medium-sized things that weren't shown in that trailer. Like there's like more new uniques, more new primordial uniques, new other things that are coming. Other features, other pieces of systems that can have a pretty big impact on individual builds, on general gameplay. So yeah, there's lots of stuff that wasn't shown directly, but the major systems are all in that trailer. I know you're a detour enjoyer, but are you a Grim Dawn enjoyer? I am a extremely casual Grim Dawn enjoyer. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it, and I have a feeling that is going to require a revisit very soon. I never played it as a kid, so like I don't have the nostalgia factor there. But it's just a great game. So yeah, yes, I'm a Grim Dawn enjoyer. I'm not a Grim Dawn. I would say I'm not a Grim Dawn aficionado. Oh my god, that poll was close. Only 67 votes. That is shockingly low vote count. Wow, that's fine. It was very close. Edged it out. Necromancer at 51%. So next season, I will be maining by 1 vote. From 34 to 33. I will be maining Necromancer next season. Works for me. So we'll have to figure out what type of Necromancer I'm gonna be. Well, I'll put some thought to that. Any leaks for Necro BM passive or skill trees incoming before patch notes? Yes, I have some of that to share with you today. Not quite yet, but just give me a little bit. Maybe I'll die, maybe I'll share it, Alright, how many new Echo layouts will there be in Season 3 with the new Act zones? Ooh, good question. I do not know. I don't even know if that's something that... I know how to look that up. I can't look that up on stream because it would require opening the project. I get in trouble for that. Ooh. This is a T6, but still. Might be able to make something there. Not a big upgrade, but we might be able to get a little bump. How many new Echo layouts? I don't know. There's definitely a chunk. I don't think there's a way I can quickly reference that on stream. But yeah, so like you may have noticed that a lot of the Echo layouts, not all of them, but most of the Echo layouts are modifications on zones that are in the game. And so when we make a new chapter, we take the zones that are made for that new chapter and we make adjustments to them to make like level layouts for Echoes. Yeah. Any new set items? I don't believe there's any new set items coming this season. Current season mechanics will go into the core game? Yes. Could you possibly look into the DPS display for certain skills? Yeah, for example, minions and chaos bolts. Yes, they won't come in season 3, I'm sorry. It is something that we need to do, and it's on the list. Hey Mike, will we ever get traditional Chinese in the game? Maybe. I think this is one of those things of like, because we already have we already have one translation for like people that live in China or speak Chinese, and I am realizing that I'm butchering the actual name of the language descriptions, and I apologize. And it's close. It's a lot. I think there's a lower barrier to entry, and I'm completely ignorant on this topic, and it goes to the exact same answer as before with adding new languages. We want to add more languages. If it makes sense by people who are much more involved with this than I am to add that language, then it'll be higher on the list, sort of thing. I haven't seen anything specific about any new languages coming, other than we want to add new languages. I just don't know which ones. Alright. Necro threshold nodes. I saw a question there. Yes, necro threshold nodes are coming. You Aaron, you called that out in your like analysis video of the trailer. And I know you don't even have early access anymore. Oh, one of these days it'll work. My red ring will be like the last day we're playing, and I'll roll a red ring there. It'll happen. Hey Mike, any chance we get DLSS support soon for 4K borderless full screen? It'd help a lot with FPS. Soon? Maybe. Soon TM. one of those things that is on the list again. Season 3, probably unlikely. Let's bump this up. Can we tank it? Yes, we can. All right, I'm not gonna look. Is there any date set for the patch notes yet? No, not that I can share, but it is the normal patch timing. A few days before the patch will come out, you'll get full patch notes. But it will be a matter of days, not weeks. Anything new about a release for LE for consoles? PS5, Xbox? Not specifically. It's still very much something we're trying to do. It is, you know, something that takes a lot of time, a lot of money, all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if that's something that's, or when that's going to happen, or what that's going to look like, which consoles it'll be. All that stuff's still up in the air. And when we've got something concrete to announce there, I'm sure there'll be lots of parties interested in making that first announcement when it actually is finalized, on exactly what that's going to look like, sort of thing. So I do not have anything to share at the moment, and once we do have something to share about console releases, it will be it'll be a big deal if that happens, what that looks like, all that sort of stuff. Right. 25 all res. We do have a lot of pen. It's not actually that bad. Hey Mike, I've been here for some time. Cool. Maybe for the first time actually being on live. Nice. So how do you like the idea of giving more opportunities to give Mage some more void conversions? I think it's a great idea. I think I really like Mage as, to be clear, this is what I like, not what's going to happen. I really like void conversions as an option for Mage in the future. I don't think it, like, there's a lot of stuff in the, how do I say this? Quite often in systems, Mike's going to collect his thoughts and we're going to start over again. Quite often when we're deciding on which conversions happen for a skill, one of the things we look at is the support that's available for those potential conversions in a skill tree. So that's why when you see like a sort of an extreme example of this, and it's not an elemental conversion, but it's kind of similar, is Heartseeker with an item getting converted to throwing. And you're suddenly having to dip into a lot of other skill trees to get that throwing damage happening. And that's kind of like one of the more extreme examples of sort of a deviation being made. And the other, probably most notable extreme example is void damage having void conversions existing in Mage, because the Mage skill tree, nowhere in the passive tree is there any void support at all. And that's why the conversions that do exist for Mage are very self-contained in the way that they provide power. But I do really like the theming of it in general. So I think there's space there to have it happen. How we actually make that happen, it might have to, I don't know. I don't know if we want to do it in the end. I don't know if it's going to happen or anything like that. But I do really like Mage as an option for that. If we could find a way to do it. All right. What's your take on sharing translation files on Git servers so the people would be involved in translation? The translations, so the big problem with that is that the information that's being translated is not something we want to happen before the game launches, or like before like the patch notes are revealed, sort of thing. So we don't want to having a public translation option available for before it launches. Having that translation be available publicly kind of spoils a lot that's happening. Like the entire storyline for the next chapter that comes out is completely spoiled as soon as those translation files go online. Like the script is all there, you know what's going to happen, all that sort of stuff. There's a few other reasons why, but that's one of the driving factors for having, and it's not just that, it's also like skill nodes, and it's basically just unveiling the entire patch notes before the patch notes, if we did that, but in a really cryptic way that people would have to like figure out what it all means and figure out how it fits together, and there'd be a lot of misinformation and all sort of stuff. And so at that point, then like it's a useful tool to put after the fact. So like the patch comes out, we release that sort of stuff, and then we say, okay, let's make updates to it. And then there's this like a lot of paperwork involved and a lot of like little piecemeal work to make all those changes after the fact, and we're going back and forth into this document database of translation files and stuff, which is great for the final product, but it does leave this sort of gap between where there's this like low quality release that happens and then it like slowly gets improved over time with a bunch of extra work. The solution we like to have happen and what we're working towards is just to keep the style we're doing now, where we are having them professionally translated before the patch comes out with a fixed like company that does this. That's their job, is translating video game text, and just having that be higher accuracy and less mistakes in there. So just improving that function to the point where it is we don't need to enlist the help of the fans to fix our mistakes, basically, and just get that right the first time. So that's what we're working towards. Yeah. All right. Hi, Mike. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too, Mr. Flibble. Are there any more controller changes coming to Season 3? Nothing gigantic. There's some control change that was a little while ago. There's like updates to the UI navigation, just like improving the general flow and feel of it. Like bug fixes for certain skills that weren't targeting properly, things like that. No major paradigm shifting changes though. Hi Mike, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I asked on Discord if a teaser you showed was a Primordial unique, and you replied it's not actually finished yet. It might be, giving the impression that you might be able to create your own Primordial uniques in the Season 3. Is that what you meant? No, that's not what I meant. I meant that the art was finished for that item before the item was being finished designed, and I didn't know if the item that ended up being designed for that artwork was actually a Primordial unique or not. Sorry to get your hopes up accidentally. Hi Mike, good to see you. Just to be clear, Primordial uniques are a fixed thing in the game, and the fixed set of Primordial uniques are always Primordial uniques, and only those items are Primordial uniques. There's no way to convert an item from a... I don't even know, I should be explaining. I'm just explaining the system now. There's no way to convert a unique to a Primordial unique or a Primordial unique to a regular unique. Items that are regular uniques are one thing, items that are Primordial uniques are another thing. Hi Mike, good to see you. Good to see you too. I hope to see more detailed search function for the stash. Yeah. For example, finding a T6 and T7 exalted with specific affixes, health, and endurance. For example, yeah. Yes, that's something we are still working on expanding. The system update that we did to that mid-season here, or right near the start of the season, was pretty off the cuff, and sort of it was kind of like we can do something that's pretty good here really quick. So there's lots of room stuff to improve there, and we do intend to improve that and add more options and things like that. There's a whole bunch of changes to this dash that we're working on. Some of them will be a little bit longer term, but yeah, that is definitely on the radar, and yeah, you'll be seeing updates for that. This guy just doesn't know when to quit. Are you planning more visual reworks of the campaign similar to what you did for Chapter 1, with the visual quality of the new content getting better and better? Chapter 2 and 3, mostly the Ruined Era, feel outdated, almost like a different game. Yeah, I think it's really good that the different eras do feel distinct, and it's really obvious. I think something we've tried really hard to do is that when you drop into an area, you can and like I'm staring at a great example of this actually, which is awesome, where you can tell immediately when you step into a space what era that space is in. Like is it this button? There we go. So you can't see what era this is on screen, right? Oh yeah, and you're gonna be able to change the color of health bars soon. Yeah. Anyways, just remind me because it's the only thing I can see on screen. The having that visual clarity of where you are and stand out what era you're in is really important. It's something that we've tried to do, where it's like where you can drop into an era and be like, I know what era I'm in based on the surroundings and the visual touches and like just what's happening around me. And certain areas are a little bit dated for sure, and we are looking to improve those. Sometimes it's through systematic changes, sometimes it's through specific updates. But yeah, we do spend a fair bit of time going back and updating some of the like bringing the lowest points up, and we do that in every category: sound effects, VFX, just node quality for skills, and item designs and things like that. So we quite often go back and look at the low points in a large set of things and try and bring those up. So yeah, that's definitely on the table. Good day, Mike. Good day. This is a top hat, I don't know. Let's bring our UI back up. Quit chasing me. Go away. All right. Good day, Mike. For the Lich. I know where I'm going. For the Lich low health node you teased, when you take damage while already on low health, can it still trigger effects that say when damage leaves you at low health? Yes. The reason it's worded kind of weird is just so that it's clear that it's checking your health after the damage is dealt. That's all. But it's the same as normal. Because if you say like when you take damage at low health or something like that, it's kind of ambiguous if that means like if you're at low health when you take the damage, or if you're at low health after you take the damage. And so we're just trying to make that clear, which, funny enough, sometimes makes it less clear. Can Lich be played in a melee class after the rework? Yeah, we're adding a new melee skill for Lich to give more melee Lich options. Yeah. Oh, there's a big that's what's going on. Oh my goodness. I'd scroll down and I'm like, there's not 28 questions here in this queue, but there's a bit of a gap. I will catch up. But first, ooh. Wow. Hey Mike! Hi. I like saying hi to people. Any plans on multiplayer game or adding clans? Yeah. I think clans or guild systems is something that we've been kind of hesitant on for a while, but we're definitely warming up to the idea more and more. There's been a few times where we've looked at implementing guilds as a system to integrate specifically with certain other systems, and we've kind of tossed those out and gone other directions. I'm most notably talking about the Bazaar here. And we've been sort of, I think, a little bit hesitant to add a guild system with very few features. And I think that's becoming less of a concern now. So yeah, I think guilds are closer on the horizon than they have been for quite a while, but still not season 3. One of the things I think just in general we've been hesitant to do is add any features to the game that say, hey, in order to play a significant amount of the content in the game, you need to be in a party, you need to be in a guild, you need to be playing with other people, you can't do this solo. And so I think what we thought was, we said, hey, we don't want to add a guild system without a mechanic or function that goes with it. And if we do that, there's only so many systems and mechanics and functions that can happen in the game. And if one of those major systems is tied to the guild system, then all of a sudden a significant percentage of the mechanics in the game are tied to multiplayer, and we want people to be able to play single player as well. But as we get more and more systems into the game, that becomes less of a concern because the percent, like if you have 10 systems and you add one that's multiple, that's only 9% or something, or whatever it is. Whatever 1 divided by 11 is. Of course, I couldn't have said 9 plus 1. And if you, and I think as well, on top of that, we've also been much more interested in adding in a guild system without a major system to go with it anyways. Yeah. Oh, Kane, I love you for putting the item picture in the question for me. That is so wonderful. You spoil me. All right, question about the Wildfire Embers amulet. This is kind of because I fumbled around trying to find it last stream, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Will the 5% proc chance part proc with a channeled skill like Warpath? 5% proc, where is that? That's the, when you directly use a fire skill, each wildfire wisp within 12 meters has a 5% chance to repeat the skill with an additional 300% ignite chance. So if I'm gonna say probably not, it probably doesn't work for channeled abilities because auto recast for channeled abilities is a pain. And we had to do some janky stuff to make it work for Warpath Echoes in the first place. And because this is universal, we'd have to do similarly janky stuff for things like Disintegrate and all the other channeled abilities. I think it probably is, it needs a little non-channeled tag there, but if it doesn't, and it does work for channel stuff, and I just don't know who did this and how it was solved, it would be just one time per. Because this is the tricky part. I don't even know how you do this, because you'd repeat it once, but it would be like a fixed duration repeat where it'd just be a few seconds, which is how we did the Warpath Echoes, where it's just like a couple seconds. I'm gonna say it probably doesn't work, and if it does, it's probably just like a little chunk of it. Yeah, because making it work with Warpath wouldn't have been too bad, but making it work with everything else would have been really bad, dev time wise. And having it be inconsistent would be a big problem for like communicating the effect to the players. So I think it's likely it doesn't work. But I can, if you remind me and ask in the Discord, I can actually check that after the fact and get a proper answer for you. Let's put some stuff away. Is there anything here we actually want? Those are the right mods. I'm not using any of these things. Let's keep that like that. We're gonna be terrible people and sell everything else. Yep. It's a fire sale. Everything must go. Is there an extra sound setting for loot filter sounds? Volume low to high? Ooh, good question. I do not know. I think given how things like that work, if we did, it would probably be a universal setting, not on a per sound basis. But maybe. I'll leave a little note here. Let's go. Bear with me for a second. I'll just leave a little note for him. Where's the sound design? Here's sound design, audio, sound effects. Can the new loot filter sounds be rated? We'll find out. Hello, Mike. Good day. Good day. It's my I don't know why, but every time I have like a formal voice, my Decker Cane comes through. Good day. With cosmetics coming to offline mode. Yes, finally, right? Right? I know it's this thing that everyone's been asking for so long. Finally. So excited for this. Weirdly excited about this. I don't know why. don't even play offline really. Still excited. Sorry. How will it work? Buy the stuff online mode and it appears offline? Yeah. And are previous cosmetics getting transferred in season 3? Yeah, so like any cosmetics you have unlocked on your account will work in offline mode. They do have to be purchased in online mode. That's kind of it. Yeah, we're not taking away any cosmetics. We're not removing cosmetics from your purchased cosmetics, so you can. I don't. I'm a little confused. Are previous cosmetics getting transferred in season 3? I think that just means like, can you use things that you've already like? Do you have to rebuy cosmetics for offline? No, you don't have to rebuy cosmetics for offline. If that's what you're asking, like all these things that you see that I'm using right now, as soon as season 3 drops, and I'll be able to go into offline and just use them all immediately. Currently, no. I just got a response. You cannot manually adjust the sounds per loot filter option. The volume of the sound, sorry. So the volume is a fixed volume for that sound. I think it's kind of too late to slip that in for season 3 probably, but I mean maybe in like a follow-up patch or maybe next season after that. We'll see. That's the sort of thing to get into the request channel. Good call it though. I did get a clarification. They do respect the UI volume slider, but they don't have their own individual volume sliders for each individual item sound in the like you can't be like volume of this is 10, volume of this is 7, volume of this is 1, volume of this is 7. You know, it's volume of all of them is 7 or volume of all of them is 1. All right. Are we going to be able to set minimap icons for certain gear rules? Also, I don't think this piece came in though. Could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure that one didn't make it. I think it's just the sounds for now. Sorry if I missed if this had been answered, but I missed a lot of drops that otherwise would be picked up if I could enable an icon for them. I know we were talking about removing icons for ones you don't want to see. I feel like that's kind of the same system. I'll have to figure that one out, sorry. Hey Mike, missed last stream, so welcome back, thank you. Hi. Do you know of any new consumables coming to season 3? Consumables. Yes, I do. I can't tell you about them at the moment. I'm sorry. Hey Mike, wondering how the team feels on where the threshold of too many systems or not enough systems are at, and where the team thinks they are at currently. Yeah, I think there's a decent gap between too few and too many. I think there's a pretty wide like sweet spot sort of thing. And I mean, there's probably like there's probably like a point where there's like a perfect tipping point, like where this is the absolute optimal, and like everything you add up to that point is just improvements. And then there's like a point where it kind of just drops off a cliff. Is what I would guess it probably looks like. You know, like you're adding new systems, it's getting better and better and better and better and better, and then you add too many systems and it kind of just tanks like this. Is probably what happens. I'm not really sure. And I think we're probably in the like getting better part of it. I think there's still room to add a few more systems where the complexity is not too much, and we're still getting good depth out of that complexity that we're adding. I don't know. I'll say this is one of those things that I think it's very hard to predict where that drop off happens as well. I bet that I keep saying like I bet because I'm not really 100% certain on this, and I think it would be really hard to tell where that line is before you get to it. And I bet that there's like not a lot of warnings that you're getting close to it, and then it'll kind of suddenly show up and you have to pull some stuff back. But I'm not sure. I think we've still got a few systems to go though. Will minions, especially Acolyte, get access to more damage types like throwing? Well, Acolyte does have access to throwing damage already, I think. You think? In minions? Minion throwing damage? It's a thing, isn't it? Pretty low power version of it right now. That is the Husk of Elder Panion right there. Just chilling. Just a casual boss fight. I think it's very unlikely to see much more, if any, throwing damage coming through on Acolyte minions. I think most of the minion throwing stuff that we do is through Falconer right now. I don't hate the idea of it though. I'm pretty sure there's some nodes we've talked about recently, and I can't remember if those nodes were for this season or not. Nope. Doesn't even show up on the ground. But there are some new conversions, element-wise, for some minions that are in the pipe somewhere. Maybe a little further down the pipe. Another question for Mike the Man with a Plan. They sometimes work out. I noticed the new eggs from a stream teaser were not in the teaser video. Did they not make it into season 3? They are those were concept art for something that's in the game in season 3 that we haven't really explained yet, but they are in the game. Their role evolved a little bit between since that image went out, but not much. I feel like it is time for, it's probably long overdue. I haven't been dying. What's wrong with it? Part of me standing in front of that boss and just expecting it was expecting to die so I could share something cool with you. We're just gonna do it right now. This usually causes me to die early. Oh my goodness, I've done it again where I've made it too small to read. Good job, Mike. How are we gonna do this? I'm just gonna leave it up on the screen. So there's a this is a new node that does trigger a new subskill that you'll be able to play with and interact with on Acolyte. It's gonna be sweet. Help with the bossing. Pretty sure it's the blood tether one, right? It's so tiny. All right. Hello. Has the team considered making a smaller season that can really that can be ready to release further away from PoE 2 and PoE 1 League launches? We have. In general, the experience we've had between releasing a very large patch right next to PoE 2 and releasing a very small patch far away from PoE is the large patch near PoE 2 did way better than the small one far away. So it's the feedback we're getting is that it might not be the best thing to do, but I do very much understand the consideration that where this is coming from, in that getting away from those, splitting up those releases such that we're not stepping on each other's toes is best for people. And it's something that we've long wanted to do, and that we still are going to do what we can to get away from those. How that happens, I'm not sure yet. Is there an absurd amount of damage allocation there? Don't forget, because as a subskill, the As a subskill, this is not something that attributes directly access. So whatever is proccing it, the attribute scaling for that ability will actually be what is used. And it's possible the screenshot was, I assume the number's huge and ridiculous. The screenshot may have been taken with someone on a character that had absurd amounts of stats. All right. My thoughts are that some skills will be primordial. Some skill will be primordial. Red skills in the skill tree. And the skulls on gear are the level of primordial it can be by hunting the beast. My wild thoughts. Cool. That is not what's happening in the game on season 3. How much does the new season expand the story? Number of quests in new zones. Quite a bit. There's, this is the first time the story's really taken an extended stay in the ancient era, and quite a bit happens, and we are like we're ramping up to the climax of the story and all that sort of stuff. So there's there's good stuff happening here. We're leveraging some new tech we have to improve the way that story is presented, stuff like that. There's some cool stuff. I can't really go into detail, but it's of a similar scope to the current last chapter in the game. Will chapter 11-12 be done in 2026? I have no idea at all. I've seen some like script stuff for those, but I know everyone that works on the chapter content is very heavily focused on chapter I guess it would be chapter 10, isn't it? Yeah, this is chapter 10. We do it by letters, but it starts on Z and then goes to A, so I have to count it out every time. Yeah, so this is internally, this is chapter I, which is the 10th letter. And I realize that I'm playing with something up, but I'm sorry. I'll fix it, I promise. Oh no. God, I almost died to some maggots. That was close. Okay. Can you tease us what we get from completing the new chapter? I cannot. There's some adjustments in how you enter into endgame. Ooh. Will the game be more optimized for Steam Deck? Yeah, optimization is one of those things that is every season, every patch, we're always looking for ways to optimize the game, from minor adjustments in how how the mutators get references to the player stats in their first tick functions when they're created, so that the spawn in happens faster, and just little tiny micro optimizations like that just save tiny shreds of compute time, and all the way up to large grand scale things that change how shaders work, that give you big performance boosts and things like that. And so at every level of targeting, we're always looking at ways to improve performance, and we're always looking at ways to get better frame rate out of the game without compromising the visual fidelity of it as well. And that just has direct knock-on effects for all platforms, including Steam Deck. And then we are also directly optimizing for Steam Deck as well. So yes, optimization is always a very important thing for us. And it's balancing the rate that we want to add cool new stuff at against how much we can optimize the game. And I think the general optimization of the game has improved quite a lot over the years. And so has the visual fidelity at the same time. And I think the optimization is improving faster, such that we are getting better frame rates with similarly powered contemporary systems. Oh, decisions. I don't have time to make these decisions. This one, first one I saw. Merch store win! Oh, hopefully any day now. No, it's gonna be a while still, I think. I have no idea. We are still really interested in doing it. I don't have any info on an update there. I yearn for it. Terribly so. Evening, Mike. Evening. I just wanted to say that your glorious beard inspired me to grow on myself. Awesome. Now my life has changed for the better and become successful in all my areas of life. Thank you. That's, I mean, wonderful. I feel like that was probably more on you manifesting awesomeness than just the beard, but I'm glad it helped you on the way. I love a good beard. I actually just recently touched mine up and trimmed. I hadn't done any sort of trimming on my beard for quite a while. I went to get my trimmer out to just to touch it up, and the trimmer was dead, and like it wouldn't charge properly. I had to like take it apart just to get it to charge properly. Like, you know, it's been too long when. Ooh. But I'm glad you're enjoying your beard. I love mine. Will Season 4 finally have the Barbarian Mastery that you 100% confirmed was coming as the next new mastery? For the record, I know this is a joke. In case anyone's wondering, I have not confirmed that. There will... I'm not prepared to commit to anything for Season 4 at the moment. Oh, no. Alright, Harbinger weapons and champion affixes didn't quite hit the mark for build itemization due to their realistic obtainability versus legendaries. What lessons were learned and how will primal exalted items be different? I think the big difference there is that there's kind of a legendary for everything, and there's not really a primal unique for everything. So there's the pool of primal uniques is pretty limited. There's not a huge number of them. You've seen the arts for most of them at this point. I don't want to say all of them, but like a very significant percentage of them, the art's been shared on one platform or another at this point for the primal uniques. Like there's not a gigantic pool of them. So we're experimenting with more narrow designs that are more powerful as well, and so you're not always going to want to use. I don't think every build will just naturally want to use a primordial unique in general. I think that's the big difference there. Look what that was. A bone harvester.
They won't forget.
I think I've said this before, but I think my dream for like looking at the average character sheet, because you're right now you look at most people's character sheets and there's a whole bunch of legendary items all over the place, and there's very few, and like the only reason these aren't legendary is because I just don't have the base uniques yet for them, you know. Like I think these two would I don't think I have anything to put in there legendary wise, but like, you know, it's all two colors here, and I my dream for the like paper doll here, so this term's it's called paper doll, is that there's a wider variety of colors, like more of a rainbow that happens, and so you're not like you're saying, okay, which legendary goes in this slot. It's more of like, what type of item am I going to put in this slot? What are my options? That sort of thing. I think that's more the goal, and I think that this will help a little bit with that, but there's still lots of room to go there. Will you be adding more conversion nodes for existing skills? Yes. For example, I love playing Lightning Paladin, but there is hardly any lightning conversion nodes for their skills. Yeah. Not a ton coming for Season 3, but yeah, there are quite a few elemental conversion nodes that are in the pipe somewhere. Thanks for adding more dinosaurs next patch. Can we ride one? I don't believe there are any mountable, oh my goodness, creatures in Season 3. Okay, we're good. Did I get them all? Nope, one down south still. Didn't get any chaining. Probably good for pacing of the stream. Thought that one was gonna split for a second. Totally fine. That was sweet. I don't know why I like it so much. There's something hardwired in my brain. And the sweetest trick that you're never gonna have to do again? Yeah. Don't think there's actually a lot of awesome stuff for me here. That's okay. Alright, I gotta catch up on questions. There's a lot of questions here still. I'm working on it, I promise. I just gotta stop playing the game a bit more. Any changes to WASD, or does it remain experimental? Will you be able to use mouse abilities and pick up properly? There are changes, there are fixes for issues that were happening in WASD. It does remain experimental, but yeah, there are quite a few upgrades and improvements and tweaks that are from your feedback, which has been fantastic. I think the general reception to WASD is it's good, but it could be great, and so we're on the road to greatness with the WASD controls. But there's still a bit of a road there. What is your bucket list or hopes for endgame that you want to do at some point? Oh, someday features that I want for endgame. Someday features. I want a PvP mode. I don't know what that looks like exactly. I want a variable PvP mode. I want a PvPvE mode, where it's like there's two groups that are doing a PvE challenge at the same time against each other that's causing things to happen to the other, sort of thing. Like when you kill a monster, it like spawns on the other side and eventually just overwhelms one side or something like that. I want a direct PvP mode. I want like 1v1s, 2v2s, 4v4s, that sort of thing. Who knows if any of that'll happen. We're talking my personal bucket list. I want new classes. That's not a end game bucket list thing. I want more procedural generation content. I want more Uber bosses. I want a raid boss style thing. This is personal bucket list stuff. I have no idea if any of this is gonna happen. But if you're just like, Mike, here's a magic wand and do whatever you want to the game in a parallel universe, this is what Mike's doing. Even more. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's getting cracked. Ah, goes on the ground. I don't care if it's 18. Actually, 18 is really good. You know, the list of content that we've got in the pipe, and yes, I intentionally left out things that I know are going to happen that I don't want to spoil early. And but that list is gigantic. You know what I'd love to have a, you know, like Gwent or Terra Master or Blitzball, or, you know, these like small collectible games inside the game. I'd love to have one of those. I don't know. All sorts of stuff. Any supporter packs or Twitch drops for this patch, or I guess MTX in general? Yes, there's definitely new MTX. Exactly what form that's coming in, I'm not sure. All that there'll be a big social post about that'll explain all that in detail. But yes, there is definitely new MTX that's coming. New skill MTX, new gear MTX, new like. I don't think there's a new category of MTX coming this patch. I think it's all stuff for existing categories. I think. I guess one thing to be clear is the audio tracks for the loot filter are not MTX. Just in case anyone thought that might be a thing. just to clarify, that's not happening. Those are just part of the game. Any support backs? Twitch drops? We almost always do Twitch drops. I'd be shocked if there weren't Twitch drops. Triple tried at the very most, but never Terra Master. Come on, Terra Master's amazing. Yeah, I'm of the age that Final Fantasies 7, 9, and 10 were like my jam. It's what I grew up on. And yes, I intentionally left out 8. My neighbor across the street had 8 and I hated it. I don't know why. Couldn't handle it. I know it's I know it's a fantastic game. I just it never clicked for me as a kid. It's very stylistically different, and I really like the style. I don't know why I'm going into this so deep. Defending 9 is my favorite one, and I always feel the need to defend it. All right. Can primordial uniques become legendaries? I'm not going to go into too much depth on the primordial system and the details of that at the moment. I'm sorry. So we will get more information on the primordial system, hopefully pretty soon here, I would expect. But details are still mystical and obscure. Here, I'll distract you. Smoke bomb, distraction. Hey Mike, I hope you're doing fine. 2 quick ones. Can you share if there will be Obsidian Resonance changes? You yourself said that it seems off/buggy like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I've said it way more than 4 or 5 weeks ago. I said it so many times. It would be cool to see some kind of dev challenge where some of you guys compete against each other in hardcore, for example. Maybe 4 of you, 3 hours starting from scratch and see what happens, like a race or something. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. I think this was 2 things added together, but yes, I don't. There hasn't been any major changes to the resonance system. I think at most there's some number tweaks, sort of thing. I would not like to participate in such a race because I would get my butt handed to me. But that would be funny. I'd be the one that's like, I'm just gonna go slow, like really slow, and everyone else would like get over ambitious and die, and I'd be like sitting there like, I'm 10 levels behind you, but I'm still alive. And then I'd get to an avalanche part and I would die. Overlay, oh my goodness. Thank you, Kane. My bad, I'll stop playing. I swear, nothing exciting happened back there. Oh no. There we go. Gone. Gone. I'll post all the images up on Discord right after the stream as well, like usual. With the Merchants Guild only using gold as currency, is there a chance we will ever be able to buy and sell consumables to further increase their value and give us more ways to farm up enough gold to buy wanted items? Thanks for the great game. You're welcome. Thanks for playing. Appreciate you. We're not planning on integrating crafting materials into the currency trading system at the moment, into the bazaar. I definitely see the argument for it, and it's something that like once it happens, there's no going back, and I don't know if it would be positive or not. In general, yeah. So we're holding off on that for the time being. I think there's other ways that system needs to be improved still, and we are making some changes to how you interact with that system and how you level up in that system, especially how you progress in that system. There's sort of like there's a few like categories of players, like broad categories, and there's tons of people that fit in between these cracks that interact with the bazaar in different ways, and they each of those categories of the like people who are like level 100 in the first week and are just like have maxed out that Merchants Guild ASAP, and people who are, you know, starting right from the start but are taking it a little slower, and then people that join like 2 months into it, sort of thing. And there's like different categories of people that that just interact with that system differently, and they're each having different problems with how they interact with that system. And so we're trying to more surgically address some issues there. And you saw some of the changes teased in that trailer. You've seen the one of the tokens, what they do. You don't know what the other token does. There's a screenshot of it. And I haven't seen anyone actually, I haven't been looking at a lot of speculation around it, but I haven't seen anyone say the right thing yet. That doesn't mean no one said the right thing, but I haven't seen anyone guess what it is yet. But that'll be all out in a post in the next few weeks here, because there's only a few weeks left. All right. I really want the Primordial unique and Primordial exalted information to become public, because a lot of these questions are about it. I'm really sorry that I'm not able to answer them yet. All right, we are pretty far behind on questions still. I'm gonna put this back up. We're gonna rapid fire some questions here. Oh, it's the bear can do earthquake node. Love that node. Can you interact with primordial uniques like with normal uniques, turtle or the egg, for example? I'm sorry, I can't tell you details like that just yet. Have you considered making 3 dungeons shorter and as a random event that pops up in make the 3 dungeons shorter and as a random event that pops up in the monolith? I believe the main reason people don't engage with them too much is because they are a bit long and also not that easy to access. People don't really look at the campaign map when they are in the end game. Yeah, so there's a few things here. The tying specific, so the ways we've tried to position these to be taken advantage of in the end game is by tying specific rewards to them that are enticing to draw people in to do them in the first place. You can click on the keys to just bring you directly to them. So you right click on a key, it opens the map and takes you directly to it. So access to them is actually really easy. That may be better, that maybe could be better tutorialized, I think. The dungeons as well, like the speed, like adding the portal charm, they are really short, and if you're in endgame you're getting these, so like they are effectively tiny already, I think, and we really need them to still be accessible through the endgame or through the campaign, because they play a very key role in the campaign as well. So I think the goal more is to make more of these eventually, and maybe tutorialize the way they work a little bit better, and give access a little bit easier. I do like the idea of including parts of them in the monolith, but I think one of the key feedback we get frequently is that everything is too intrinsically tied into the monolith, and so having certain systems that are broken out a little bit and having new systems come in that are broken out a little bit, I think will be really advantageous in general. I'd also really like to see dungeons get a facelift in terms of how they're generated, and I think if they were just more fun to play, namely through procedural generation, they would be more enticing for people to go and do them in the first place as well. So I agree with you, there's issues there. I'm going to disagree with you on how best to fix those issues, though. Yeah. Yes, to answer your question, yes, we have considered that. All right, what are your thoughts on cross-era enemies, i.e. a dinosaur or plant from the ancient era having skills, mechanics from clearly different era at a random encounter / rare? I think it's interesting. I think the way that we'd have to frame that, so I really like it. I think the way we frame that is that there's some sort of third party that's manipulating the situation to grant them these abilities or to bring them into, and I realize that all of the explanations I just did were with an overlay open, and I'm sorry. But yes, the bringing in some sort of third party that's like also able to control time, that's like bringing 2 things together or something like that, or like an experiment or something. I think that would be the way to do it if we were going to do something like that. But yes, I do like that idea a lot. Can you tell if the super exalted shown in the trailer can be target farmed, or is it a random drops like champion affixes? I can't tell you how to find those just yet, sorry. Are there any plans for a gifting option for in-game cosmetics to get them for friends? We don't have something like that at the moment. I don't think there's any plans for it either. I think because the currency used to purchase them is tied to real world currency, having that be transferable in game is an issue. I think there's like I think that's one of, oh my goodness, I'm probably wrong about this, and I think that this is, I don't even want to say it because I need my breath. I think there's some rule in some region that makes it so we're not allowed to do that. I'm sorry if it's not. But I think that that's a bit of a minefield. I think it's, if you want to buy something for someone, like sending them $5 so they can buy it themselves is kind of the only option we have at the moment. And I do like the idea of it being, because it is one of my favorite things I remember from League of Legends playing. When they first opened up, it was a Christmas event, I think, like 10 years ago or something, maybe more. Where it'd be more than 10, it'd be like 12. Anyways, it doesn't matter. You could gift a random skin to someone else for $5, and it was awesome. It could be any skin in the game. And that was so much fun. So yeah, I do love doing that sort of thing. It was fun. It was like you get like a little present from a friend. It's like, oh, that's awesome. So yeah, if we're allowed to do that, I love the idea. All right, any news on season 3 supporter packs? Are the old ones leaving? Same price points as last season? As far as I know, they're not changing, but I feel like I am completely wrong about that possibly. Kane, do you know if the season 3 supporter packs are staying? I think they're staying. We'll come back to that. Any thoughts on increasing pack size or having the option to in the Weaver tree maybe? Feels even when it maxed out there just aren't that many monsters in Echo sometimes. A lot of the time the restriction on the volume of monsters is for performance reasons. And also sometimes just, just like battlefield clarity sometimes is a really important part of why there's not an insane amount of them. I need to go back to this one because I just need to hammer out some of these questions because we are running out of time here. And there's these questions. I'm not making a dent in this. The current queue is 21 questions and I'm trying to whittle that down. But I started doing this, there was 23 and I've answered a dozen of them and there's still more. Anyways, which is great. Keep them coming. Love the questions. Kane is going to get details on supporter packs. Thank you very much. Pack sizes, we'd love to, I think, having situations where there are more packs, bigger pack sizes is really great. And I think if it makes sense and we can convey clearly what's happening, it's really great. I think there's the risk of it becoming a bit of a mob fest in certain situations where it's fun in some situations and not fun in other situations. And if you put too much agency in that, it can get cranked up into crazy all the time. But in general, we have been increasing pack size just naturally, not with any in-game system. All right, any news on the option to disable tutorials? Not yet, but I think there's going to be a fairly large tutorial overhaul at some point. Any future plans to allow us to really juice the amount of mobs in Echoes? Same answer as last one, sorry. Any chance to the Weaver season going into next season like Memory Amber and Weaver Echoes? That's all sticking around, none of it's going away, so yeah, 100%. Question about tier levels on affixes. T7 seems like an odd number to stop at. Any plans for tier 8 and higher? Maybe. Question for Mike. Will there be any plans for updates to base resistances per class? Why Rogue gets the least and Paladin gets the highest so easily? Yeah, I think this speaks a lot to the how we've really tried to make class specific differences, so that there's a term for this. Class identity, nailed it, first try. Class identity is one of our key design pillars, and so having things that are really distinctly different from class to class is something that we do really intentionally. And thematically, a paladin using magic and armor to become tougher and be able to resist certain types of incoming damage is really thematically appropriate. The rogue attempting to negate that through other methods is really thematically appropriate. So it is, and so resistances, we've also made it so that not capping them is much less punishing than in the typical style, typical basically every other game that does resistances, and which is not to say it's a bad thing, but it's just different. And on top of that, we've given a lot of nodes in Sentinel in general, because they have really good access to resistances, ways to take advantage of overcapped resistances. So if you're doing a similar gear investment for resistances, you're still going to be taking advantage of those extra resistances in other ways. For example, a node that was just pointed out this morning actually has a bug in it, which is the Vengeance node, something Paladin, top right corner of the Vengeance tree. It converts your overcapped physical resistance into physical penetration for bleed, and so that's a good example of that happening. The bug right now, if you're playing with that node, converted to fire, it's giving your Time Rot fire penetration per overcapped fire resistance, when it should be giving Ignite fire penetration per overcapped fire resistance. Thank you very much. That was our first sub this stream. Kola, you saved us from a no sub stream. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. All right. Question for Mike. That's what I'm here for. Will there be any plans to update base? All right, it's this. Whoops. Will primal exalted affixes be slammable on uniques? No information on them yet. I'm sorry. Would love to be able to tell you. I feel like those got like, I want that post to come out sooner than later because we got a lot of questions about them. When we get Mage Harbinger, when we getting Mage Harbinger, like a third Harbinger. I think there's just the two. I don't think there's any plans to expand that into a third type at this point. And we got another one. Tro Sunny. Thanks for the sub. It does all go to charity. It's above my head. You can. I've blocked. Uh-oh. There we go. There's the Child's Play. Child's Play. Great charity. One we do a lot. Does the new chapter contain any personal items or fixed uniques like Orcarion's petals? Yes. I'm gonna leave it a little bit cryptic. Got so many. Oh, they're all rolling in now. Mike 190 Twitch. 2 months in a row. Thank you very much. Wondrous. That's great. Thanks, guys. There's. Sorry, is there a mistake on this? On this node that's on screen right now? We'll figure that out. Okay, I just got a note from the people who know what's happening with Supporter Packs. We aren't quite ready to share Season 3 and future Supporter Pack details just yet. That information is still forthcoming. But we will have a larger update on that to explain it all. Do not worry. Before, well before the patch actually comes out. Will there be any way to add more forging potential to items like a rare glyph or something? No, that's something that we've toyed with this quite a few times on adding. I have pitched, I don't know how many dozens of different ways to add forging potential to items, and it is something that we have not found. We're not prepared to say there's never going to be a way to do that. We have not found a way to do that we like. We've added, we've added dozens. We've tried dozens of different ways of doing this, and there are none that we've felt work. So right now we don't have a good way of doing it. If someone comes up with a great way to do it, we're all ears. But we have not heard of a great way to do it yet, so we're not doing it. So it's a loose rule that you cannot add forging potential to items in any way, but so far it is a rule. Hey Mike, hello. Can you give us some more information on the minion rework? Is this more of a general percent buff of health and damage across the board, or is each minion being looked at? Are there any minions being nerfed? A little bit of everything there. So there's buffs and nerfs to various minions for various reasons. So there's, not everything is going to be a straight buff, but I think in general, there are more buffs than nerfs. There's gameplay adjustments, there's nodes. Everything was looked at individually. There wasn't just like Acolytes now spawn with 30% increased minion damage and health. It wasn't just like a flat thing like that. But there's lots of nodes and passives that got added or adjusted. There's lots of nodes in skill trees that got added or adjusted or removed to in some cases. And snapshotting, the basic stat snapshotting is gone and is, I believe it's merged in. There's a PR for it that I saw just yesterday. So that's coming along. It's happening. Very excited about that. Which is a big change. It's great. And yes, I know every time we say that, the thing is like, well, you can't just remove snapshotting, everything will suck. Yeah, We've done the rebalancing with the expectation that snapshotting doesn't exist anymore. All right. Do this. Is it possible to make legendaries with T8 affixes from new primal exalted items? I'm not allowed to explain the system any more than I already have. Sorry. It's full details on that will be in a full post. Will there be any new classes in the future? Yeah, we're definitely looking at new classes as an option. We've talked about this a few times. There's a lot of different ways we can take new classes at this point, whether that's like new base classes, new mastery classes, new other things too, maybe. Who knows? But we are not... there's none coming in season 3. It's a pretty big project, so it'll be a little while before you see a new class still. But yes, new classes are like... We've had brainstorming sessions for new classes, and like there's design documents floating around in our document database for various classes that could happen in the future. I think I have a pretty good idea at the next couple masteries that would end up coming out, and probably a pretty good idea of like like one of 3 or so classes that I could see being the next class that comes out. But I don't have, I don't know which ones they'll actually be, and I can't tell you anything about them. All right, but it is, I just want to. Only reason I bring it up is to illustrate that we are looking at it. It's something that we are working on. It's something that we're talking about. We're interested in doing this sort of thing. It's a pretty long ways out still, though. Happy Friday! Thank you. Happy Friday to you too. I'm getting these questions under control, so I'm gonna, I think, possibly go back to playing a bit here. Yeah, I'm gonna play some more. There's a debate of skill versus subskill. Can I provide a definition? Yes. Okay. These are skills. Pretty well everything else is a subskill. There's like 3 exceptions to that. It is a little murkier than this. So like that's the easy answer right there. There we go. These are skills, everything else is a subskill. When you're looking at attribute distribution, like attribute scaling for something, so you're looking at like what's a good example of this? That actually has sub skills associated with the primary skill. Explosive trap, great option. Oh, it does get a little messy. Red Secret gets very messy. Yeah, explosive trap's fine. Okay, so when you throw explosive trap, put explosive trap on our bar. When you throw explosive trap, when it's in the air, when it's still traveling in the air before it lands, that is the skill explosive trap. As soon as it lands, the skill explosive trap is actually over, and it creates a new skill on the ground, and that skill is the explosive trap object. I think it's explosive trap like throw is the actual ability. So the display name is not the same as the ability name, which is very confusing. But so when you throw an ability, when you throw explosive trap, the actual primary ability is the one being thrown through the air. And then when it lands, it creates another ability that creates the trap. And when the trap explodes, it creates a third ability. Those are all technically sub skills of the initial explosive trap throw. So there's explosive trap and 2 sub skills that happen in a chain whenever you throw an explosive trap. Each of those sub skills are still skills. They're still defined in the same way. If you had a way to get those skills up on a tooltip, they would populate the tooltip just like normal. All that information would be there. Now we got a whole raiding party. Lang, welcome all of you. Stay a while. It was a terrible one. Anyways, my bad. The dexterity scaling that's here, when you initially throw that explosive trap, wrong ability. When you initially throw that explosive trap, it converts your dexterity into the stat increased damage. So when it's as soon as that thing is flying through the air, dexterity, it doesn't care about dexterity anymore. It doesn't have any dexterity. It has increased damage that it was given from your dexterity. That increased damage is then passed down to the object that gets set up on the ground, which then when it explodes, it passes that increased damage on to the explosion. So if you could bring up the tooltip for the trap object and if you could bring up the tooltip for the trap explosion, they both would probably say dexterity scaling 4% per point, but it doesn't mean or do anything because the trap that's flying through the air doesn't have any dexterity. It has increased damage that it got from when you threw it. So the subskills, I assume this is what the whole question's about. The subskills inherit the attribute scaling on the skill, because they don't actually inherit the scaling. They inherit the result of that scaling. So the result of the scaling on explosive trap is 152% increased damage because I have whatever 152 divided by 4 is dexterity right now. And so those objects, they effectively have that same scaling. But if we were to bring up the tooltip for the explosive trap explosion, I could go into the game files and I could give it 1 billion damage per point of intelligence, and it would do literally nothing because that object, once it's on the ground, that has no intelligence. It has no dexterity. It has no stats at all. No attributes, sorry, at all. It only has stats like damage. So it doesn't get those boosts from, even if the explosion itself said it had intelligence scaling, it doesn't matter because that object doesn't have intelligence. That object has increased damage that it got from your dexterity. I hope that explains it. Yeah. It would probably be, I'm seeing, listen, you're probably right. It would probably be better just to remove all the scaling tags from subskills. That way it wouldn't be confusing. The problem is that when you get into skills that do show that tooltip for the subskills, like it is interesting. So like in Glacier is a really good example because each one of the 3 explosions, the skill Glacier is actually an invisible moving object that floats through the air and drops the glacier bombs as it goes. It drops those, it just floats through the air, and on a regular interval, it just drops the 3 pieces to itself as it's moving. That's what Glacier actually is. And so each of those 3 objects have their own tooltips because we need to be able to show the damage that they each do. And it's still relevant information that they get damage, like those do get boosted damage from intelligence because the original skill gets boosted damage from intelligence. So we're trying to communicate that all effectively, but it is tricky. Okay, back to questions. Sorry for that detour. Alright, happy Friday. Any luck putting those minion stances you talked about in the past? Maybe. Would love to be able to set my minion to more aggressive, wide ranging. Yeah, I think that'd be really sweet. Will the Rift Beast areas be procedurally generated? Maybe. Be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? We're gonna have more details on these things. We are interested in expanding the general procedural generation that's been used in the game. So having just more, like more side zones in general, more ways to interact with like things in the monolith, like even just full on echoes. You know, like we're trying to expand the way that procedural generation is used in the game. It's not something that we want to use everywhere, but it's something that we want to have as an option to use anywhere. That's pretty good, actually. Yes, I randomly compliment myself. All right. Are you guys planning on doing a massive graphical overhaul, especially to animations and spell effects, like the game, but doesn't live up to the required modern quality of ARPGs? I think so I'm gonna say no. But at the same time, like gigantic asterisk, no, the huge asterisk. We're always updating graphics, and I think that if you like compare what the game looks like now to what the game looked like 4 patches ago, it's kind of hard to say that there was a massive graphics overhaul that happened at any point there. But if you compare those 2 points, it looks like there's a massive graphics overhaul happened. It just it happens gradually. Nice one too. And so like there's animation stuff we're looking at right now around this is not for season 3, but it's for the future. So like for around walking and little things like how when you're walking and you transition to using an ability and using like shift and using other abilities and having that transition happen more smoothly. Sure. And also just having the animations be more dynamic. Like right now your character, the angle that your character sits at when it's running. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. Here we go. Let me just do one. Yeah, nailed it. Okay. So the angle that your character sits at while running is a very fixed angle here. And even when you turn, this angle rotates about this point here. And so you get this one that like rotates about this, and it's like it doesn't actually your character, like if you try and just run in a circle, you'll naturally like bend your head inward to the center of the circle. And like as you stop, you'll like it's a dynamic movement. It's not just a hey, I stopped. And so we're really improving those animations and those transitions between animations that we're trying to improve, basically. So yes, we're like all these things that sort of like come together to make it really click is definitely stuff we're working on and trying to improve. And I think we're at the stage now. I think personally, it looks gorgeous. I love the way our game looks. I think it's fantastic. And like even now I look at this game and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we made something that looks this awesome. But you know, like there's, as you say, there's always room to improve it. And we're doing that still. So you're going to see consistent improvements in the quality in every category, visual, audio, all that sort of stuff. It's coming, we're improving it. And it's not going to be all at once in a big drop. It's going to be a continual gradual thing that we're doing. All right. Would you ever consider unannounced secret stuff like the Diablo 2 cow level? Yes, we've done it before. We'll do it again. There's nothing that is currently hidden in the game. Everyone knows, or everyone, all the secrets that are currently in the game have been found. There's a little Easter egg relating to something that was so wonderfully created for me that's getting added next season that I'm really excited about. Just a little nod. But thank you again. You're amazing, and I love it so much. It's fantastic. We had some friends come visit us at our new house for the first time a couple weekends ago, and the very first thing I showed them was this. So yeah, thank you. And yeah, so there's we're still adding in stuff like that. There's no nothing on the scale of a secret cow level right now in the game. But you know, we're ambitious with our Easter eggs. Any thoughts on Divine Summoner from the Sentinel class? Given the Pantheons of last Epoch, I think it'd be cool minion mastery for the Sentinel to have. Yeah, the Forge Guard is kind of the minion mastery for the Sentinel. I could see there being other options there. I personally would more prefer, if you're like, hey Mike, pick whatever you want for a 4th Sentinel mastery, my hat would go on the like more of an archer style class for me. I think like a really heavy bow wielding class would be awesome. That's something you don't see very often, and I think it'd be really cool. All right, I remember you looked up how many people reached empowered a while back and said that you were way off when you said that was most likely sub 1% before. I always thought it'd be lower than 10% historically. Is it still single digit percentages, or is it reached? It's definitely double digits now. Yeah, I was really far off. I was really far off. Are there any new prefixes or suffixes for crafting coming soon? Yes. Annie, yes. I think. I think this question is vague enough that I can say yes pretty safely. Not a ton. Oh, we're not gonna be able to get there in time. I should have played harder, but I was trying to answer some of the questions. You guys had really good questions this stream. We're getting the last 10 minutes here. Queue's down to 7 questions, so if you have more, get them in. Not a lot left. All right. Do you plan to announce any updates for multiplayer? Yes. I'd love to be able to start the league playing with my friends and share the endgame experience with them, so we can all progress together. Also, any news regarding the mouse cursor for 4K monitors? I like to increase its size since it's almost invisible at high resolutions. So just for reference, right now I'm playing at 2K effectively, 1440p, because that's what my monitor is. There are methods that you can do to just straight increase the size already. If you go into Windows settings and you crank the size of the cursor up in Windows, it actually does translate into the game. So if you need a stopgap right now, that will work. We are still working on cursor customization options. It's not something that we have access to at the moment. Hopefully soon. I've been saying that for years. We'd love to, please. The instant we're able to, we will. I promise. That's one of those things that most of us are like just chomping at the bit for ourselves. What's this? Oh, 2 LP rain. Don't hate that. If you're getting rid of snapshotting, then is there going to be buffs to the most recent classes to make them feel powerful? Sorry, I chuckle because when I was just talking about this, I was saying this is a common question that gets asked. Yes, yeah. Like so we're doing all of the balancing for all of the, like, there's a lot of adjustments that are happening to minions in general, in like not just power but also in mechanical changes, and so all of that is happening with the assumption, all of the snapshotting, all of the balance and mechanical adjustments that are happening to minions is being done with the knowledge that snapshotting is going away, and we are making those adjustments with snapshotting, with no snapshotting in mind. So like with the lack of snapshotting in mind. So yeah, like there's those adjustments are all happening, you know. Yes. All right. Have you guys considered I assume any items that changes the mastery bonus of any given class to a different mastery benefit that's still thematically in line with that mastery? Maybe called is Crangled. We've talked about this a little bit. It didn't get very far in design discussions. It's kind of the short answer. The answer to the have you considered questions is like almost always yes. Sometimes it's no, but almost always yes. A lot comes up in design meetings, or even just like, not even in the meetings, even in just like the channels where people are like, what about this? You know, there's like a little discussion that happens about it. Oh, that was close. That would have been a way to end the stream. Actually, you know what? Well, I was gonna say I'll die in the next echo, but I want to finish this one. Is what the end of that sentence was gonna be. I got one more. Don't worry. Here we go. Oh. Hey Mike, nice beard. Thank you very much. Will there be new items based in the future? For example, different implicits for build variety. New item bases in the future. I thought this was like thematically from the future that came back fast, something like that. Yes, yeah, we'll have new item bases. Oh yeah, we'll do that. When will that happen? Good question. I don't know. Sorry. Hi Mike, thanks for doing these. You're welcome. Thanks for coming to these. I really love doing these, and the only reason I'm allowed to keep doing these is because people keep showing up. So thanks. Can you explain how to use snapshotting minions was can you explain to us how snapshotting minions was dealt with? I mean, it's nothing really groundbreaking. It's kind of what probably most people expected. It's just really difficult to do and have it not cause problems, and have it be performant. That's really the hard part, is having it happen performantly when sometimes you can have 30 minions, you can have 40 minions, and having that not cause, and having updates to those stats happen without causing frame rate issues. That's the real tricky part. So basically, just when your gear changes, your minions get their stats updated based on the change in gear, and like whenever your stats change in general, there's like the minion stats get updated to reflect that. It's kind of it. Which is the sort of the thing that everyone said, like, well, why don't you just do this? And it's like, well, yeah, that's what we're gonna do, but it's tricky to make it not wreck the game. So yeah, there's not really much to explain. When your stats change, your minion stats change with it. Kind of it. Are skills still snapshottable for the entire duration, long duration skills? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. So like Aura of Decay, for example, will not be snapshottable. But like Disintegrate will be. Partially because it's a like full-on channeled ability where you can't continue to channel and open up your inventory and change your gear at the same time. Yeah. Are we gonna see more harbingers and bosses like Aberoth? Would love to fight a mage harbinger. I mean, so we will see more bosses in the same. I mean, I don't know if you mean by like void theming or by like time theming or by scale and scope theming, like style, like the like Aberoth. I'm not sure what that like. Yeah, but yes, we will be adding more like uber bosses and endgame bosses and things like that. I think a mage harbinger is unlikely, very unlikely, but not impossible. Will there be any new crafting items in season 3 and or beyond? I think technically I can say yes to this, but like don't expect new stuff to show up in this category. Like as cryptic of an answer as I can give. And I did what I always do again. Don't expect new stuff to show up in this category. Oh, meant the same faction as Aberoth, like another Orbus minion. Ah, I see. Probably not. Maybe. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say maybe on that one because it's yeah, maybe. Sorry, vague answer. Sometimes I gotta be bad about that. I'm sorry. Will there be any new items that can we have guns in future updates? We've been. I don't want to put a hard no on this, but we've been very hesitant to actually add guns to the game. It's not impossible. You know, like judging by the way that the world technology is advancing, when guns would get invented, like the world, the whole known world is kind of this. You know, there's not a lot of humans left. The cities of the world is kind of just this and this, and there's not a lot of people there, you know. So it's one of those things that it's the overlay. Sorry. The people left in the world is kind of just council chambers and cultist camp. That's about it, really, you know. So we're not exactly worried about inventing new technologies at this point. We're worried about not going extinct. So there'd have to be a pretty major shift in the timeline and the world to allow gunpowder to get invented, or like not gunpowder, but just guns in general, like in more future style, more modern style guns. So yeah, it's unlikely, but not impossible. There'd have to be some pretty major changes to make it work thematically. So why Disintegrate yes and Warpath no, referring to snapshotting over duration? I don't know. Maybe we took that maybe we took that Disintegrate too, and I just don't know. I think because it's a lot harder. Oh, it's because Warpath can move and Disintegrate can't. That's why. When you remove snapshotting, I know most people are thinking of minions, but this will have rippling effect on all buffs, short duration procs, and cooldowns. Are you going to have all the numbers tuning for those effects ready for the snapshot patch? I'm thinking of all the short duration procs that increase spell dot damage that Acolyte has, and cooldowns like Death Seal where you currently want to recast spells before it ends. Well, not everything. Not every spell and ability has snapshot changes that affect it like that. So like Death Seal will still snapshot. Yeah. Yeah. So if I make Warpath static with the node in the tree, I can snapshot it? No. Good try though. I like where your head's at. But I think that'll just about do it for today. It's a good try, Lizard. That's a nice one. All right. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I had a great time, or I hope you had a good time. I know I did. I'll be back same time, same place next week. 0 factorial. That doesn't mean what you think it means. And if I missed your question, I apologize. It was not intentional. Please head on over to our Discord. There's an Acid Dev channel. I'll try and answer it there. Questions about Primordial, Uniques, and Exalteds, I apologize for not answering any of those. We'll hope to get that information out sooner than later because we know there's a lot of people interested in that. That's a really important piece of planning out builds for next season and that sort of stuff, which I know people like to get a jump on if they can. So, yeah. Let's find someone to go say hi to. Who's having some fun? We went there last week. Do we just do it again? Anyone else I recognize? This is the problem, is that I was trying to find someone that I recognize. Just because I know probably all are fantastic, but I get burned every once in a while when I take a shot in the dark. We're just going back, Ray. We're going back to safe. Lizard, agent of chaos as always. I love it. There's also something else pretty big happening right now that I feel like a lot of people are doing, which is exciting. See you next week, everybody. Drink lots of water. Have fun. Bye.